Hello, Donzel. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Elijah. It's awesome to be on the show with you today. My privilege and my pleasure. Looking forward to
Be-
it.
Beautiful, my man. And thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Donzel, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, Donzel, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invested in yourself. And oftentimes, my
Yes.
man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Donzel, some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Donzel, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the
Yeah.
word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it. And the leaves were all dry. So I
Yes.
just walked
Yes.
past it and I went my way. But you see, Donzo, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree
Uh,
caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And not just mangoes nowadays, I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a
yes.
lovely experience that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Donzel that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the
Mm.
request for me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your
Oh,
philosophies, your
thank you.
insight, the impact your work is having, how you're offering your solutions, Donzel. These stuffs are beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Donzel is doing, and not only me now, but even with the audience. And here we are today with
Yes.
the amazing Donzel. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, my man.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you for the invite and thank you for that story. So wonderful. And it's great when we invest in ourselves. And I love the mango tree story. Sometimes we have to also watch out when we're investing in ourselves, but we give our agency away or we allow it to be taken away from us. We all have to realize that we are the leaders of our lives and we can control our own destiny. And just like the mango tree, I had a mango tree. I'm from the state of Florida. We can grow a lot of good mangoes,
Bye.
but I didn't get any this year because all the little critters came and ate them before I can get them. So that was my
Oh.
fault. I wasn't there enough to protect the mangoes and make sure
Hmm.
my investment was protected.
It's
But so it's
pretend.
always a good reminder for me when we invest in ourselves, we have to continue to invest to
Hmm.
protect what we've learned and what we've built, but to continue to do more and more and more every day, every second, every minute, every day is an opportunity for us to get better. And every second you lose, you're working on social media or you're, just kind of not doing anything
Hmm.
productive. That's a time that we can't get back. So
Hmm.
continue to invest in yourself, continue to take control of your life and your agency.
Hmm. Powerful words, I tell you. And that's profound. We are the leader of our lives. I got that. So you see, I'm
That's
quite
right.
excited to have you on the show, Donzo, for two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Denzel, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now,
Yes.
but the application of it. And you see, my man, ever
Yes.
since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because
Yes.
I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Donzel on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, majority of the folks in the world, we live in a world where knowledge is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, high opening, and very important information, of which I am
Yes.
totally convinced, my man. that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So, for that reason, Donzel, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your
Great.
personal or your professional journey. Sorry, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Donzel got here. Then afterwards,
Mhm.
I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, my man,
All
over
right.
to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Elisha. So I'm originally, like I said, from Key West, Florida, born and raised there. Most of my family, well, pretty much all of them, immigrated to the United States from the Bahamas back in the 1850s, 1860s. So a long time ago that my family has been in Key West. It's a small island. If you're not familiar, very at the very tip of Florida, it's the southernmost point of the United States. It's closer to the island of Cuba than it is to Miami or the mainland of Florida. Very unique place to grow up. A lot of different people were always there because tourists coming in, but there was also a large naval base there. So that brought a lot of people from around the country. So I grew up around a lot of diversity, saw a lot of different lifestyles, and became aware that you can't judge a person by their appearance or the way they talk or the language they speak. It all boils down to what character that they have and how they treat you. And so that's always stuck with me. I played American football in high school. I'm a big guy, so I was blessed with size and some ability athletically. So I went to university in the state of Indiana to play college football at Purdue, which is in the Big Ten conference here in the United States, one of the biggest conference that we have, one of the biggest. So I was there for 4 years, graduated, got to play, did well. Stayed on and also earned my master's degree from Purdue, both in technical fields. Then I started working in industry, in food manufacturing, and built a 32-year career in food manufacturing. The last 15 or no, the last 16 or 17, I led large organizations of manufacturing across international spectrum. So I had responsibility for not only manufacturing locations and people in the United States, but also in other parts of North America, Canada, Mexico, and then pretty much all around the globe, South America with Brazil and Argentina and Europe, France, Greece, UK, Spain, Asia, China, um, uh, Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, as well as Australia, New Zealand. So you get the idea, and even in the Middle East, places like Dubai and Saudi. So I've gotten a chance to work with a lot of people from all over the world, and what I have a book coming out, Make Your Destiny Happen, and in that book there's a lot of stories that kind of illustrate my leadership model that I'm introducing, but also I bring it to life with stories around the world that show that the model and the way you treat people translates no matter what country people are from, what language they speak, what ethnicity they are. If you treat people what I call the platinum rule, the way they want to be treated, and if you care for people, you can get a lot of things accomplished, a lot of incredible things, not only for them but for yourself as well. I'm married. My wife and I, Tracy, we've been married for almost 31 years. We have four young adults. They're range in age between 32 to the youngest is 24. Um, and then, like I said, I retired from my corporate job, ended that 32-year career last year in 2024, and really the last year it's all been about polishing and refining my book to get it ready for publish, and we're set to be published here and out for sale. August 26th. I have a podcast that's out as well. Doesn't compete with yours. This one is very short. I call it the Make Your Destiny Happen Petite Podcast because it's only 5 to 6 minutes long. We want to hit things, very sweet, short, and to the point. Get the messages out there. I introduce a little concept from the book, and then share a personal story. This first season of stories about my dad, who passed away about 6 months ago, and so I'm
So
honoring
sad.
him with these stories on the podcast. So take a listen to it if you can.
Most definitely, my man. And that's a beautiful journey. I love that. I love that. Your perspective as to treat people the way they want to, like the way they want to be treated. That's a beautiful one. And I got that. So there is just what I'm curious about. All right. What is the
Yes.
first step in creating a life plan. Got it?
You, the, yeah, the first step is truly spending time to get to know yourself. And that's why I brought up earlier, recognize that you are the leader of your life. You have to accept leadership for yourself in your life. Doesn't matter whether you're a leader of a podcast like yourself, or you're a CEO of a bank, or you stay at home as a parent. Some people think that a job title means they're a leader. No, everyone has agency over their life, and you have to accept it's your life. And so to do that, you have to, I call it the A attitudes of leadership, which are, be authentic with yourself. The first two are the foundation of everything, and it's be authentic with yourself and develop confidence or assuredness in yourself. And so the way to do that is make sure that you spend time. Who am I? What am I really all about? What's important to me? Not to everyone else who's looking at me, who has expectations of me, but what's important to me? What makes me feel confident about the things that I bring to the table? Everyone has some things they're really great at and some things we're not so great at. We have to keep working on. We have to be honest with ourselves and really do a full self assessment of who we are. Once we do that, and I'm kind of shortening it, but my book kind of talks about this in detail. The next step really is all about then sitting down and thinking, okay, if that's who I am, and I'm confident, I believe in myself, all right, what do I want to do? What do I truly want to do? Not again what my parents are doing, not what my best friend told me to do. Not what I read in a book or what AI told me. There's a lot of people that are asking ChatGPT, tell them what to do. No,
Yeah.
what do you want? And we have a model that helps people envision what that is. And so once you have that, then it's all about now what you said earlier, operationalizing that plan, putting details, milestones into place to make it happen. But the very first step is you've got to get to know yourself, you've got to love yourself, you've got to believe in yourself, and then identify what you truly want. And what's most important is it's got to be something that not only will make you feel successful and fulfilled, but will also make you feel happy with yourself. There's no such thing, in my view, of a life of success if there's no happiness, right? So to me, it's about what do you want to do that allows you to feel successfully fulfilled, but also that you have personal well being and balance in your life.
Mm, mm. Wow. That's profound, and I got that. I got that. So while you were talking earlier, you mentioned a model. So how is the Destined Development Delta model different from other self-help models?
Great question, Elisha. The main difference in my model, and I've gone through a lot of different as an executive. I've seen a lot of different self-help sort of models and motivational, inspirational, all these things. And as an executive, where I led groups of 10,000 or more people, again across over 30 countries around the world, so I know all about differences, perceived differences. Um, the model that I have, I was able to leverage both in business and with people. And I'll tell you that the main difference that I see and that I stake my reputation on is that most of these self-help models basically study a group of successful people. They sort of narrow down what they think a couple of key themes are that made those people successful. Then they try to tell others to simply do those things. Now, two problems with that. The first one is that ignores that there's a lot of other special circumstances that allowed many of these successful people to get to where they are that not everyone has, or that they were focused in a certain way on something, they had passion about something, or in the right place, the right time. So not all circumstances are going to work for other people. The second problem is it doesn't tell you then what to do. It doesn't give you a way to operationalize what you brought up right away from the beginning. You have to be able to operationalize, whatever lessons that you have. So my model basically helps people, again, transform their leadership in a way that they can take control of their lives. But at that point, if you once you have people convinced they can do that, which again, you can motivate and inspire people, but then what do you do next? The key for my model is it's then about we provide a model that allows you to build a roadmap, step by step, tells you exactly what to do to then take that transformation of your leadership where you want to take agency for your life, and now you can put it into action and actually make it happen. And that's really the difference. It's catered and tailored to the individual not based on what Jeff Bezos did, or not based on what some other famous
Yeah.
guy did or famous woman did. No, it's based on, hey, get to know you. What's special about you? What do you want to do? Now, here's a roadmap to make it happen. That's the difference.
And that's a great difference. And that sounds very effective and powerful. Wow. How long did it take you to come up with that?
You know, it was over time. I became a manager, and I tell the story in the book. I became a manager very early in my career, and a leader. I wasn't really looking to take a role like that on. I was an engineer, but I treated people the way they wanted to be treated. That's just how my grandparents, my mother, they raised me to treat people in a great way. Not how I think, but how they think they should be treated. And even though I was in the middle of a state called Iowa, not a lot of people of color, black people out there in Iowa. So I was surrounded by a lot of people who did not look like me, but I treated them, with great respect, great care. And they saw that. So they went to the leaders and said, hey, this guy is the only one that listens to us. He's the only one that cares about us. Make him our manager. That's how I became a manager. And I tell that story in the book. And so based on that, I took that lesson and said, how do I start leveraging what I've been doing, because clearly it's working. And so over the years, I started developing this model of the leadership behaviors that really seem to not only work for me, but people seem to gravitate to. And then I built this model of, okay, now how do I actually get things done? Because bottom line is, people can like you as a manager, but if you're not getting results, you ain't going to be there long. I mean, you got to get
So
results. You
true.
can't just make people happy.
I
So I had to
tell
bring both of those two things together. And that's how I led the organization. This model started as a way to lead my organization of hundreds and thousands of people, to get them all inspired and aligned to go after a singular goal and to make that goal happen. And not only for us to be successful, but for them to again feel fulfilled and have well-being and balance in their lives. And in the book, I tell story after story of incredible results that outperformed anyone else. So that's how the model came about. And so what I feel really good
wow.
about is it's not one of these things again where someone just did research on some famous people. No, I built this model, I put it into practice, and I leveraged it organizationally and with individuals, and saw where it needed to be tweaked, made those tweaks, where it needed to be developed, and where it needed to be refined. And that's how the model came to fruition. I feel great about it right now because I've proven it over time.
I tell you, and that's a smart one. That's a smart one. So we have two more to go. You see, there is something I believe is so inevitable. And seeing how experienced you are and the beautiful work you're doing, it's amazing. So, how did you overcome tough moment? Like during these challenges and these hard times, how were you able to overcome
Yes.
those moments? Yeah.
It's something I said earlier, and that is really spending time facing who I really was, and that seems easy, but it's hard to do, because when we look at ourselves in the mirror, um, we tend to see and recognize the good. We see the bad, but as soon as with the bad comes in our mind, we turn away or we want to ignore it. And I had to realize that there are some things about me that hey, I had to fix, and I had to recognize them. I'm not great at that. And I had a couple of experiences that were very difficult that made me realize, hey, you quit. It's hard to say. For a long time, I didn't want to say that, but I quit some things. When it got hard, I lost. There's some times I went up and I didn't win. There's some things that I did that I failed. I mean, and I'm talking big failures, big losses. And so I had to recognize, by taking time with myself when those things happen, and it took some time to look back and say, you know what? It wasn't just circumstances. It wasn't just bad luck. It was me. I made some bad decisions. I decided to step away. I allowed myself to be intimidated, whatever it was. I had to face that and then decide, what am I going to do about that? I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to learn every day. I'm going to continue to push myself and recognize that quitting, failures, losses, Yes, they can set you back and knock you down, but they can make you stronger if
Yeah.
you get up, keep learning, and keep developing yourself. A loss, a failure, sometime where you had to give up, those are the greatest opportunities to learn if we take them on. So I learned and I changed my mentality from that time to anytime something didn't go right, I immediately look for another option. I immediately look for what did I learn from that? How can I do better next time? So to me, losses, failures, they're not, I don't define them that way anymore. I used to, but I don't define them that way anymore. I define them as opportunities for me to learn and do better. Every single day, leverage the time, which is the greatest asset we have, to learn, do better, and be prepared. So when things don't go right, which they're not going to go right, we're going to have adversity. I'm prepared. I'm stronger. I believe in myself. I'm going to make a pivot and move forward.
Powerful words, I tell you. And a lot of things changed around me also when I discovered this truth you just mentioned. That within
Yeah.
every adversity, there are some important lessons that I must learn. So just like you
Yes.
mentioned, whenever our time comes now, all I'm busy looking for is the lessons in it. Okay, what do I have to learn in this, and what do I need to learn in this? That's a great one, my man. I got that. And I would take that as a final thought. That's very profound. So to bring this to an end, for folks who would like to reach out to you, make a purchase of
Yes.
your book, or open your services or programs, or even ask you questions, how can that be possible?
Yes. Visit our website, www.destinydevdelta.com, www.destinydevdelta.com, or you can simply type in the title of our book, www.makeyourdestinyhappen.com. You can Google Make Your Destiny Happen, Donzel Leggett. I'm sure it'll get you there as well. We can also provide to Elijah, all the details to put in the show notes for you to also see exactly our website. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're also on IG, and I have a YouTube channel as well. Again, you can search Donzel Leggett YouTube, and you'll find some things. Especially today, we just released our third episode of the Make Your Destiny Happen Petite podcast. Take a listen to that.
Sure, and we will do that as well. So that's going to be the end of the show, my man. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Elisha. It was awesome meeting you, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your platform.